Now it's time for News Extra here on KNEB and brought to you by First State Bank in Scottsbluff and Gary. With our program, here again, Kevin Mooney.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. For those of you expecting Dave Wolf to be here to talk about NRD stuff, he's home sleeping or whatever right now. I'm not sure. But John Berge is here, though, and that's good. Also, Scott Schaneman, the Water Resources Coordinator over at the North Platte NRD. They have a big event coming up this Saturday, their first annual Water Expo out at the North Platte NRD from 8 to 4 p.m. So welcome, guys. John, just tell us, this is going to be pretty much, you can learn everything you wanted to know about water, right?
Yeah, we wanted to do an event that was fun for the family and also educational for all of our attendees. We're going to be hosting this, like you said, from 8 to 4. What the entire day is about is some educational activities, classroom activities, demonstrations, projects tour. We're going to be hosting a number of different speakers from around the area and also some remotely from around the state. We'll be talking about drought resiliency, irrigation management, pollinators, resource conservation in terms of soils and trees. We're going to have free lunch. We're going to be the Husker game will be on and able to be watched. I know that's going to be important for some folks. And we're going to have a lot of kids activities. This is not just meant to be for old guys like you and me, Kevin. It's meant to be for kids too. We're going to have daycare available for folks that want to go through a classroom and need to have their kids have some fun too. So I think it's going to be just a terrific day.
All right. So, Scott, you're the one that kind of put this all. This is your kind of brainchild, huh?
Well, you know, we've talked a lot about this in the office for the past 3-4 years, and it was one of those things where it was like, we just need to do it. You know, we've talked a lot about trying to continue our education there at the office, and this thing just kind of exploded into a whole community event where everyone can get a little bit of education, not just employees at the NRD. We have so many different activities going on there that day. We've got 8 different demonstrations. We've got 4 different classroom sessions. We've got Al Dutcher joining us through Zoom. He'll be putting on a class on drought resiliency and preparing your community for drought. Like we talked earlier, Leanne Sato will be there talking a little bit about stormwater and drainage and how that affects our streams and rivers, and be a fantastic talk about and demonstration about bees and pollinators. I got to sit through a little bit of what those folks are planning on presenting, and we walked out into our pollinator demonstration out there at the office, and they talked about all the things that go on with pollination and all the life involved in flowers, and it's really going to be a neat demonstration.
And you're going to talk about alternative landscaping. People can walk through the greenhouse over there.
You bet.
I think a lot of people probably haven't walked through. I mean, they've heard about it,
right,
but maybe not walked through it and looked at what you guys are doing, right?
The greenhouse just looks phenomenal right now inside it. The plants are just going great guns, and Jenny's just done a great job, and Barb and all her volunteers out there. That's going to be really neat for the community to see that part of the North Platte NRD.
All right. Okay, we'll be back, talk more about this and other things going on at the NRD right after this.
Hey, Nebraska, Dave Ramsey here. When I get asked where you should keep your money, for me it's a no-brainer. Locally owned community banks like First State Bank in Scottsbluff and Gering. They offer all the bells and whistles of the big banks, but with free checking that includes free e-statements, free online banking, and no-charge First mobile banking, free ATM transactions nationwide, and no monthly maintenance fees. First State Bank, Scottsbluff and Gering. Member FDIC.
Back on News Extra today with John Berge and Scott Schaneman over at the North Platte NRD, and we're talking about the first annual Water Expo coming up this Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. out at the NRD. If you don't know where that is, it's just up the road to the airport there, off of Highland Road there, and it's very easy to find. It's right off to the right. and they got lots of places, lots of things to show you. That's what this is all about, this Water Expo. John, one of the things you guys are going to do, you're going to host the 18th Street Farmers Market out there, too, huh?
Yeah, in an attempt to make sure we've covered all of your bases for a Saturday, we visited with the local leaders of the 18th Street Farmers Market. A number of their vendors are coming up. In addition to that, we've got 28 exhibitors and sponsors that are helping to sponsor this event. We wanted to make sure we weren't spending a great deal of public money on it, so we raised a bunch of money to help offset costs. So we've got everybody from equipment dealers to Pampered Chef coming out there to display. It'll be sort of a miniature KNEB Farm and Ranch Expo.
That's good.
We can never top you guys, but we're going to try. So we've tried to make this as fun and interesting as possible. The biggest thing that Scott mentioned earlier before the break is, one of our biggest statutory responsibilities is educating people, educating them about water and natural resources, and we've done very well at that. But we thought that maybe an annual event, getting people out there and learning a little bit about what we do, would be a good way to approach things. So that's was the genesis of all of this.
All right, and you guys are doing a great job, and like I said, you can go out there to the greenhouse. You got all these corporate sponsors. Did you have to go out there and reach all those corporate sponsors, Scott, or
No, actually, John and Barb went out.
they did all that work?
They did all the footwork.
They did all the footwork?
You bet.
That's good. That's good. Well, getting 28 corporate sponsors, that's pretty good. That shows your ideas is a good one.
I think there's a lot of faith out there. You bet.
Yeah, all right.
Now we just got to deliver.
Yeah. All right. One of the other things, real quick, this is kind of one of those times of the year where you're talking about budgets and stuff. You look at what the commissioners are talking about. City councils are all looking at cuts. John, you guys are in the kind of the same mode, right?
Yeah, people may recall we cut about $700,000 out of our budget of expenditures last year. This year, we're going to be passing our budget here next week. We cut another almost $1 million out of our budget of expenditures. We've dropped our property tax again by another $500,000 property tax asking this year. Just to put that in context, that's roughly about 15% of our budget of expenditures over 2 years has been cut, and our property tax asking has gone down again by about $500,000. We're going to be dropping our mill levy by just over a cent. So it's been quite an educational experience. And people ask how you do that. You do that by cutting programs and projects. We've got to prioritize the things that we're spending based on the resources that we're getting from the legislature and the federal government, which have been lean. We've had some issues with levy authorities with the current slate of state senators. I think that's likely to continue. So we're going to do our best to manage what we've got. But we've done a heck of a good job this first increment of the IMP. We've met our obligations with flying colors. The question is what's going to happen with the next increment, and that's what should give us all pause when we do these kind of budget cuts.
Yeah, so fortunately you guys have got your goals and your mission and all the things that you have to do done, even with the budget cuts. Like you said, when the next requirement comes down the ladder, then maybe you're going to need a little more money. So hopefully the legislature will be listening, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, good luck with everything going on the 8th. It sounds a good idea. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, and you can learn a lot about water.
I should mention, while you're down in Lincoln watching the Buffaloes, we will also have the game on out at the office as well. I know that that's important to a lot of listeners, and we will have the game on. KNEB is going to be out there doing a live remote as well.
All right. So you won't miss the game if you come on out to the Water Expo. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Thank you, Kevin.